Okay, so this is gonna be a bit of a coaching on what I think you should be doing as D.Va. Um, I'm about a diamond rated D.Va. D.Va is one of my stronger characters. I think that in the right hands, D.Va can really change the game in a lot of different ways, but there are certain things that I think you need to be looking for. And I'm just gonna mention some of those before I even start watching. Just, things that I'm gonna be looking for while I watch you. So, some of the things that make D.Va really good is the extraordinary amount of burst damage that she can lay down in such a short period of time. Um, her movement abilities, which allow you to get in and out pretty efficiently, and as well as your DM. So, your defense matrix, I think, is probably one of your most important abilities as a D.Va, especially because it allows for you to peel for your supports, which is what I really would like to see you doing, or if you're not doing, I'd like to recommend you start doing. Obviously, I don't know what you're doing yet, so I'm going to start the video. Those are just, I guess, some of the broad categories of what I would like to see you do in this video. Also, I'd like to thank you for sending it to me. This is the first coaching recording I've done, so let's hope it turns out pretty okay. That guy has so many hours on Junkrat. That's astounding. I've never seen anybody with 750 hours, really. I guess maybe I've never looked that far, though.
Actually, I think I just played with you,
Try
no?
to look into these
Real
things.
mob. Weren't you Reaper? I think.
So you want which of them to go, Anna? Is it the I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but I guess it's the guy who hasn't picked a hero yet.
Why would I go Mercy?
So I'm gonna pause it there. So what I think is probably going to happen, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Oh, never mind. I was gonna mention that your Moira and your Ana were gonna be your two supports, and you'd be lacking the defensive vault. I know that's not really something you need to be worried about because that's not really the focus of this. This is more so about your play. But something that a lot of people that I've met through this server or this organization, like Gary, likes to have defensive vaults. So it's good that you have the Zen as in addition to the Ana to possibly negate a grab. So that was good if you're eating that bubble. And this is also good. You want to, I mean, it's always okay to pour a little bit of damage into the right shield. You never want to just full on engage anything while he has the shield up.
What was me?
Now, what I would hope for you to do right now is kill this Mei. Okay, that's unlucky. She got healed up. It's good that you're backpedaling out, but what I'm worried about right now is that you have about 3 people down. And there you go, you got out. Now what I would like you to do at this point is to keep leaving.
Solo on Discord, please kill her.
Good job, man. That's honestly, that's one of the biggest things that you should be doing. You never want to overstay your welcome, especially as a D.Va, because your DM will only last you so long, and after that runs out, you're just a big ult charge for everybody on the enemy team. So that was exactly what I wanted to see. You didn't overstay your welcome. You did some damage. You realized nothing was going to happen by you being there. Your Reinhardt died, and then you left. You didn't stay for too long, so that's great.
Can we have a Moira or something? Moira was fine. Can we group up?
So,
nice,
right now, you got probably the best pick that could have happened by that Widow. It's good on you for going straight in. I would be trying to be a little more aggressive, although this Mei ultimate could definitely put a damper on that. Yeah, that was just a bit of a decent play on their part. It was a bit risky, I will admit, because they lost their healer. That fight could have went either one of two ways. Either you could have... I mean, they really just stalled it. They didn't get a lot of picks, but they definitely probably got enough time for their Ana to come back. Yeah, she's back.
That's the point.
This bomb is very wishful. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to stop it there. Something that you need to really work into your rotation of play. I'm sure you know about this, so it's not really going to be a big focus. So your ultimate usage, I would say about 90% of the time you're going to want to use your ultimate only to stall or to continue the fight longer. So you haven't really made that much progress on this point. As you obviously can see, there's not a lot of capture progress here, and you've only just gotten there. You don't have that many picks up, so there's still going to be quite a bit of contesting going on from the enemy. So that ultimate could have really saved your skin
I need help, you on me.
if this fight were to go a bit south. I mean, granted... Oh, okay, that's exactly... Yeah. If you were to have your bomb right now, you could have re-gotten in your bomb, and that fight could have possibly turned out differently. I can't say for sure, considering how destructive that bomb was, but that's good that you're asking them to regroup. So, going back to what I just said about the D.Va bomb, I think either if you saved it to begin with, it wouldn't have been the worst move for you to remech on the point just then, or you could have still saved it, because you still didn't get a tick. So there's going to come a point again where you're going to have to stall. You don't want to use D.Va's bomb offensively like you did unless one of two things happens. You have a Brig who can stun the Reinhardt while the bomb is about to explode. You have a Reinhardt shatter the enemy Reinhardt. Like anything that can CC the Reinhardt, you're gonna want to save the bomb for if you coordinate that with your team. You don't want to just kind of hope it happens, because it probably won't. Because D.Va bomb is pretty easy for a team to avoid. There are certain cases, such as it's pretty good against a pharmacy. So if you're lucky enough to be in a position where you could maybe use it to take out those two, or even just one of them, really, hopefully the Mercy, that would be pretty good. But I would say, for improvement's sake, as of right now, I mean, I don't know. You might already know this already, and we're not too far into this yet, so you might already know that. So I'm just gonna keep going for now.
Spam the shield so I can shatter.
That's good. I'm glad you listened to him. You always want to try to work with your Reinhardt, even though you're not a Zarya, you can still have a high impact in this play. That was great. Good job.
D.Va. Get me.
Ooh, a bit of lag there. Seems like it's okay though. Reinhardt's absolutely popping off. That's what I like to see as a Reinhardt main. So, I do want to point out that Reinhardt did do quite a considerably large amount of the work that fight.
You have like your own little escape, you know?
I don't want to say you were ineffective as D.Va, because you definitely contributed to his his request to break the shield so he could shatter, which made the play happen.
And her heals are just better.
But
heals.
What I think you could be focusing more on is attacking the supports, because they do have an Ana. And, okay, this is just unlucky they shattered. There was really nothing you could do about it other than, I mean, you didn't get affected by it anyway, so you didn't need to worry about staying behind the Rhine. But what I was saying is you are considered a dive tank. Now, I know you don't really have any of the DPS necessary to dive with you because you have a Widow and a Junkrat, and that is a great pick, by the way. But what I would like you to be able to do is to at least bother the supports in a way that will interrupt their ability to support their team. And also, as a dive tank, it's kind of your job. Let's see how this goes first. Okay. I'm gonna stop there again. It's as as a dive tank, it's your responsibility to wait to dive until you see a positional error in their team. Not even necessarily an error, but when the fight progresses, the natural flow of the team will probably end up as in the supports are going to stay in the back, the tanks are going to be in the front, and the DPS will probably either be flanking or somewhere in between the supports and the tanks. So when that breaks out, you want to be keeping an eye on any of the targets, especially the supports that you can fly in and take out quickly. Because
Nice.
that, as a D.Va now, especially with her rockets, she has the ability to do that. And I would say that that was a really good use of your bomb. Like, if you can kill anybody with your bomb, I'd say go for it. So good on that for now. I want you to finish this fight, kill both of these two. Okay. Maybe back out. Oh, yeah, kill that Widow. You could do it. Yeah, nice.
He's not trying objective.
You should be able to kill this Hog as well. He's just staggering at this point.
Punish him.
Genji's low. You need to dive on him.
Genji.
Good job. Don't be afraid to use your jump jets and get up in their face. The fight was basically over at that point, so it wouldn't have hurt. But no matter for that, really, you still won. You still killed him. I would be okay. So what I was gonna just say was maybe you could take out that Ana, but you're overextending a bit. I'm glad you got out.
There you go.
And
See,
it's
we got
good on capping the point. You want to be careful when you dive in Ana, because she will sleep you, and if she sleeps you, she's probably also gonna nade you. So when that happens, you might be burnt. But
Hanzo low.
you know,
Hanzo 1.
you got out. That's all that matters. I wouldn't get in the habit of doing that though, because they're especially so when you dive, you want to worry about like at that current time when you decided to be aggressive, their team was currently regrouping. So what you just did was you dove into all 6 or maybe less of their current enemy team. There was no backup for you when you did that. So it's a miracle you didn't die, and I don't want you to get in the habit of that because as a D.Va, one, you feed a lot because you're a high HP target and you can take a lot of damage. So by doing that, by getting slept and also antied, you're not really getting your healer any ult charge, and you're also giving them plenty of ult charge by just laying there and soaking up damage for them to be able to hit you with ults. Okay. I mean, I haven't really had a problem with your... That was a good kill. I haven't really had a problem with your bombs yet because you've been getting value out of them. I'm not sure whether this has been luck or you're calculating them. I can't quite tell. I would just consider the fact that as you climb in rank, people are going to be a lot more able to escape a bomb, so you kind of don't want to get in the habit of just bombing for the hell of it.
Go for that Moira.
This is a good dive. It's a shame you got slept. You kind of knew what you had to do. You went after the Ana, but she did sleep you. So what I'd recommend, if you're ever going to do this again, that was great also. Just something to think about is, I'm really happy you killed her. But something to think about is you can watch her cooldown. So if you see her sleep, then you go after her. If you see her nade and sleep, then you definitely go after her because she can't protect herself. You're definitely making good dives right now. That was good. Even though you didn't get the kill, you still pushed him back.
Perfect. Good job. Get on point. Let's go. Nice ult. Nice ult.
And that was also a good bomb. So far, I think your team's ult management has been pretty on top of it as well. I have noticed you've been using your bomb basically off cooldown, but you haven't really stopped getting value out of it. And I couldn't really complain much about saving the bomb. Also, great kill.
Wait.
Amazing transcendence if you just did that.
Ana's dead, guys. Ana's dead.
Okay, so...
And the Ryan. Holy fuck.
Yeah, this is going pretty well. Okay, yeah, that was a pretty solid round. I'm pretty sure you're probably going to win this. If you don't, that's pretty depressing. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So... You haven't really been pressing tab a lot, so I haven't really had a good gauge on whose ults are available at what time. I can say that I think you and your team did a fairly good job of using your ults in a coordinated way or even in an economical way. I don't recall you over ulting any fights, and you've basically won almost all of the fights that you've invested in. So that's what's key. You don't want to. It's incredibly bad for you to invest ultimates and lose a fight, and it's also incredibly bad. It's even worse to overinvest in ults more so than the enemy and still lose the fight. And that kind of happens a lot in the lower ranks. I've noticed as I've climbed in ranks. When I was a gold player for quite a long time. It was pretty common for a team to invest their ults and not get a lot of value out of the ults and still somehow lose the fight. As you get higher in ranks, people are able to make better decisions with their ults and make sure they get value out of it. But what I was happy to see is that you were doing a pretty good job of making effective use out of them. And I'm also happy to see that, like, there's a lot of lower elo D.Vas. I'm not really saying gold is low, but you know what I mean. Who don't really make quite use out of D.Va's effective range. Like a lot of the times you'll see them sitting back with their Reinhardt if he's not too far in and just kind of poking at any of the people in front of them, and that's not effective. And obviously you know that because you're making good dives and you're making good decisions as of right now. I don't know the outcome of this game yet. I haven't watched it, but as of right now, that was a pretty strong first round. Something I have
someone stand in the
noticed
choke
a
so I
little
can
bit
find him.
is your accuracy. I think you
Perfect,
might
right
want
there.
like you might benefit from having your reticle a little bigger, like your crosshair. D.Va's got a pretty big spread, so you don't really have to have it so small. Okay, so what you need to do right now, you lost your Mercy. This fight is in serious danger of being lost immediately. I have no idea what she was doing standing there, but what you need to do right now is give them some space and buy time for your Mercy to come back. See, that was a good kill. Also pretty lucky though. This enemy team should have walked in and immediately destroyed you all. You lost your Mercy. That was their cue to come. The fact that they're not doing that is on them, and it's also on you to know that because you lost your Mercy, you need to play a lot more conservatively until she comes back. What is popping on now? Hopefully you can kill this Ryan.
I got hacked, guys.
Alright, you need to get out of here. That was a typical case of over committing to a dive. You dove back there and you tried to duel the Ryan, you didn't kill him, and then the rest of his team came to back him up. What you should have done quicker, let me try to go back to that and replay it. Okay, so he pinned you, so that's a bit tough on
I got hacked, guys.
your part to get out of there, but you shouldn't have used your jump jet to try to get to that health pack. Granted, I guess you didn't know it was hacked, but your team is still on the point. So what you could have done was just jump jet. Let me see if I can give you like a little bit of an outline. Okay. So if you went up through here and back around to the left onto the point, your healers probably would have been able to pick you back up or heal you back up. I'm just gonna check and make sure they're still alive.
Oh, yo, guys, behind it.
You really should be pressing tab a bit more. I think everything is good
Go right.
as far as your healers.
Oh, there's that.
Someone wanna come beat me so I can fucking fly to them?
Yeah, in fact, okay. That was the first pick on the Mercy. So I would assume she's probably back by this point, or by the point where you need
They're trying to go right.
and you also get the pick on the Brig. I also noticed that you're not making any calls. I don't know if that just didn't come through this recording or not, but if you're not making calls, you need to start because that Ryan was seriously low, and if you called that he was that low, he should have been killed pretty quickly. I think the Junkrat picks it up, but if he didn't get killed right there, That'd be a serious problem. I don't think the junk really necessarily knew it could have been a random kill. Good job trying to protect your supports. That was good. I really wish you press tab more often because I don't know if you're over
Can we kill this Hanzo?
committing to this. Okay, so let's see that again. I know you're not really the cause of the overcommitting because you don't even have your ultimate, but it's still something that is valuable to know and to start thinking about because ultimate tracking is essentially how you make plans to win games. So this was a really cool kill, actually. I liked how you jumped on her head. We have Tyre invested, and I think that's it as of right now. Their Moira ulted. You might be able to take her out, so that goes down to an aim thing. I honestly think you could have killed her while she was purple, and then you dove too far deep in and fed the Rein. So, going back into that, you're not over-invested. The Junkrat got a Tyre. That's 2 picks. You should have won this fight. I don't know how it's going to go yet, but I'll revisit that in a second. So, you didn't get hacked. You should be able to kill this Moira, but yet you left the Moira, which is really not the best decision you could have made because the Moira is purple. Let's go back to that.
Can we kill this Hanzo?
This Moira is purple. If you need to, like, that's a target priority thing. When you're especially as a diver, if somebody is purple, you're gonna kill them. And like, cause Moira is annoying because when she uses her biotic grasp, she heals herself, but she can't when she's purple. And she also heals herself when she's using her coalescence. But she's purple, so she can't do that. That makes her incredibly vulnerable. And she doesn't have her mobility movements such as whatever the phase walk thing of her version of it is called. So I'm kind of upset you didn't kill her. Especially because you died afterward. You should have enough health at this point to be able to. So you still have your rockets. If you just faced her general direction and fired all of those rockets into her, she would have been dead, and that's a huge loss of healing for the team, especially because she's mid ultimate. So that's something you should have picked up on. I know it's probably like in the heat of the fight, but you don't want to get tunnel vision. Like I know you probably see this Rein and he has so little health, but granted. I mean, you could probably kill this Moira and then probably kill the Rein. But because you left the Moira live and you ran between the both of them while you only have about half health, you're going to die and not kill either of them. So just consider that. You still have the rockets. You could have used those to kill Moira. And then you could have sprung onto the Reinhardt with this, with your rocket boosters, which would probably be off cooldown by the time you killed the Moira. And even if that Rein gets into the other room to get the health pack, you're still so far up in the fight that you either could chase him down and kill him, or it wouldn't matter if you killed him because by killing this Moira, you would have cemented the win of the fight for your team.
Can we kill this Hanzo?
And now it's unlucky of your Widow. She got picked by the Hanzo. And now you're backed into this corner. So yeah, that's if you killed the Moira, things could have possibly turned out differently. I guess you still won the fight.
Nice job, John.
So it's kind of like I don't know if you guys win this if you full hold here. Okay.
Oh my god.
That's a big voice shatter. That might be the end right there. I would like for you to save your bomb. Yeah, so I think you should have saved your bomb. That goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of this video. If you saved your bomb to stall out the point longer, that would have been a lot more of effective use of the bomb because the Reinhardt was up and his shield was already up at the time of you bombing. So if we go back. Oh, okay, so Rein was pinning your Reinhardt and Brig was shielding. I guess Rein managed to their Ryan managed to charge his way out of the radius of the bomb, but it still wasn't effective, and it still wasn't necessarily a great use of your bomb. Good job of eating the orb in the fire strike. That's good.
Back up.
Now this is a lost fight. I would like your team to get the hell out of there. Your Mercy's hacked. I don't think that tire was a good investment. That was a bit of a waste on his part. I hope you don't die right now. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta back up now.
It's not the worst thing that you died there.
We gotta
But
regroup.
I notice a lot of people in these ranks don't quite back up as far as they need to. When you have lost a fight and you're still alive and you need to leave, you need to go as far as you can to the point where they won't kill you. Because if you get killed after you lose a fight late, that will cause a snowball effect on your team. Because now they can push up on your team and continue killing them, and you won't have a chance to regroup.
I don't want to get rolled.
Until you decide to pull it together and just wait in the spawn. Which is kind of a difficult thing to coordinate in gold. Good positioning. I like it. I think you could have stayed up there for a bit longer. I'm happy you're staying with your Mercy. You could have DM'd her just then to save her res. Or just to make sure that Hanzo didn't shoot her in the head while she's resing. Okay. So this goes back to what I was saying about your dives. What you just did was you fed them. I'm not trying to be harsh or anything. That's just kind of what happened. The flank idea that you that was your plan wasn't the worst idea. But however, what was the worst part about that was that you engaged the fight first. Something that you need to know is, especially as a D.Va and not a Winston or a Reinhardt, you shouldn't be the one engaging the fights. The person with the shield is the one who engages the fights, especially because D.Va doesn't have that much survivability. Like, she has her DM, which only lasts a couple seconds, and she can fly back to the safety of her team, but you are in way deeper than the rest of your team. And that got you demac'd and it got them a lot of ult charge. And you also, because you initiated the fight, they were all together. You're never going to win that fight. There's never going to be a case where they just let you kill their supports, unless this is like bronze or quick play or something and they don't care. But you dove into all 6 of them. There was nothing that there's no way that wasn't going to happen. So you want to think about that before you make the dive, because what's really risky about dive is what just happened, especially because you're the only real diver on your team. The rest of your team is rather stationary. So you want to take that into account, and you only want to dive targets when they're low enough health for you to be able to quickly pick them off wherever they are, or you want to be able to dive the back line unnoticed or uncontested, which is typically what would happen when the fight has already broken out and everybody's distracted.
What the fuck?
So they're going to start using ultimates now. Your Mercy popped Valk. That was not good. You're 2 down. You're going to, so that was a horrible use of her Valk because you were 2 down. There was no, she wasn't saving this fight.
Main tank is coming back.
You might have been even more than 2 down. Let's see how this goes. Shouldn't have done it there. You could always use it to stall later. The best part about D.Va having her bomb remake you instantly is that you basically get an entire other life, and dying in Overwatch is the worst possible thing that you could do. Kill that Rhine. I like that you tried to do it. It's a shame you got EMP. But yeah, you always want to be reserving your bomb for a defensive purpose rather than an offensive purpose. And now that bomb on her part was a complete waste. But you lost the fight anyway. That Sombra got a big fat EMP on you, so there wasn't much you could really do there.
Guys, get out of here, get out of here. Go mid, go mid.
You still have a decent amount of time to contest this point, but what's worrying to me is that... Okay, no, that was good. That was good. You should be okay now.
Alright, back up. Oh, I got hacked.
Good pick. Good job on that. You identified she was low and you went after her. So, the worst part of what just happened was that she didn't use your rocket boosters to get out immediately after. But
Yeah,
that
I
might
need
be
heals.
negligible since they're killing you still.
Just wait, we heals. Well, that hack actually fucked me
That was
so
good.
hard.
Very, like, so
Unlike the rest
ways
of our
that you
team.
can peel for your teammates are you can DM them when they're being attacked, or you could
We're
just go in
teaming
and
up.
kill
We
the
can do
person
this.
that's causing them problems. So that was good. It's a shame you died, but the fight was going that way anyway, it looked like, so it might have been best. Let's see. So at this point, it's about even. And then the Reinhardt comes in big and kills both your healers. You get the Rein. You're about even now again.
Yeah, I need heals.
You kill their Ana,
wait,
and then
who is?
Hanzo kills your John.
Well, that hack actually fucked me so hard.
And you kill the Sombra. So, I mean,
Unlike the rest of our team.
I was kind of just an unorganized brawl.
We have 2 minutes. I think we can do this guy.
But I couldn't really say there was that much wrong with
shot
it.
it.
Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't mean that offensively. Like, it was just kind of a big brawl.
Nice.
And your Junkrat's using his ults pretty well. You always want to use it to initiate. So that was good. I hope you don't use any more ults this fight because you clearly should win this fight. If you don't win this fight, that's
D.Va, save
really
your ult so we
unfortunate.
can combo.
They just killed your Mercy too. So you should be thinking about playing a bit more conservatively now, which you are doing, which is great.
Hi, D.Va, what I want you to do is, if they're grouped up... No, if they're grouped up, you ult, he's gonna turn his shield around, and I'll shatter them all.
So that Ryan's about to do a big boy strat. I'm glad he's communicating it, but it would be a lot better if you were in chat to be able to communicate it back to him. When you're typing in chat, it's a lot. I don't know. You're losing time doing that, and you're leaving your character immobile. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't like. I hope you have. It would be great if you had a headset. If you don't have one or you can't get one for any reason, that's understandable. I mean, not everybody. It's not like everybody has one, but it would definitely, I think, make your coordination a lot better.
Alright.
Especially because D.Va has good calling abilities. Okay, so you lost your junk.
if you ult
If you can't get a
behind
pick
them,
within the
right
next
behind
couple
them, now.
seconds, you gotta leave. Don't. That was not the move on your ult.
Wait, what happened?
You lost that fight, and now you're committing a bunch of ults to it. That bomb wasn't the move right there. You have to use it defensively to stall out the
The
point.
Ryan was hella
You're
okay.
still getting some picks. Okay. I mean, it kind of worked out for you. But that wasn't really much to your... Like, you didn't really do that much in that fight. And I don't want to sound harsh or anything, but
I got Sombra on the
your
right.
bomb didn't... You didn't get any value out of your bomb, and you just kind of stayed on the cart.
Nice.
And then the rest of your team respawned and killed everybody. Like, you're putting some damage out, which isn't bad, but you're not really making use of D.Va's kit effectively. Like, you should be, like, if you had your mech right now, which you shouldn't have lost by running into the Reinhardt, you could chase down that Moira and kill her. Granted, Ryan just killed her. But that's just a testament to
Good game, guys.
how you're kind of having an impact. So, overall, I would say that was a pretty okay performance. Like, if this is one of your average games, I wouldn't be too concerned about your play. Like, I don't know how long you've been stuck in gold, or if you've ever been higher than gold. But there wasn't anything that was, like, glaringly difficult to watch about this recording. I'm not saying I was expecting worse, but I was expecting to maybe have some more points to be talking about. Um, but mostly what I'd be concerned about, or the biggest concern I think, was your bomb usage. I think so. As a Rhine player, there's what we call the YOLO, and we just kind of charge and hope to pin somebody in a long-winded attempt that'll probably end up as us getting killed. I would say you were YOLOing your bombs quite a bit. There were times where you completely didn't have to use your bomb, like that last bomb you did. Let me see if I can find it.
The Ryan was hello, guys.
I think this is no, that was before then. I think it's right here.
And if you ult behind them, right behind them,
Because
now,
at this point, your coordinated thing isn't happening. Ryan isn't going to shatter because he's shielding for some reason. So it just didn't work. I don't think you should have done it because I don't think you should have relied on your Ryan. Especially because the coalescence is going out, and that can burn through a D.Va's armor and her health pretty quick, because she's defenseless against it, and you just kind of stood the brunt of it. If you save that ult to remech instead of try to get a bomb, which is already incredibly difficult, you would have had more effective use out of it, especially to stall the point, considering it's towards the end. Like you don't really have much of a luxury to try to get some kind of a clutch bomb here. You needed your body on the point more than you needed the bomb. So that's, I would think, like the biggest fault in your play. I think next I would have to talk about your target prioritization. Like I really harped on about this for a while, but that engagement you had with the ulting Moira and the Rhyme was the perfect example. I don't want to just keep on that for too long, but let me see if I can find it. Like it was right here. Yep. So let's walk through that. You killed the enemy D.Va. You're up in the fight. You're like, I like that you tried to melee her to get more damage, and it's good to work melee into your rotation as D.Va because it just helps to get an extra little burst damage off. But you shouldn't have turned around from her. Like, she's low enough for you to be able to kill her. That has to be like 75 health. Like, that's enough for just the missiles alone to take her out, and you didn't even use the missiles on her. You turned away and went after the Rhyme.
can we kill his Hanzo?
And then you fired the missiles into him, which is absurd because he just healed.
Thank you.
And then the Moira healed him more. So that's how you like, that was kind of a big feed on your part. And while you're not incredibly down in this fight right now, I think you even won this fight. It's just, yeah, you won this fight. But regardless, it's just something to think about. You never want to throw your life away as a tank, especially when you could give Reinhardt so much ult charge, because he could, there you go, like what just happened. If you didn't feed him just then, there's a chance he wouldn't have had that ult. And then this bomb was also poorly executed. I think this entire fight is a pretty good example of the, I guess, things that you need to be working on. It's really just the bombs, the target priority, and the I get, like, towards the end of this round, or the end of your attacking round, your dives got really pretty okay. Like, there was I liked the one especially where you used it, you dove onto a Genji to push him away, which I think is incredibly smart. Let's see if that was like right around here maybe. Okay, so that was an awesome kill on the Ana, and I think you do another one pretty shortly after. Good job leaving.
I heal with D.Va, let's go.
That's what you always want to do. And yeah, here's the one where you push the Genji. Here's Discord. It's a good target to go after. You didn't stay your welcome. You pushed him back, and then you left. If you overcommitted to that, you would have died. So it's really good of you to have not done anything there. So that's good. Your target priority was good there. And it's really good that you didn't finish him off. So, like, I don't know. Like, basically, I would say your skill set is definitely towards the middle of the road. Um, obviously you didn't give me any bullshit about how you think you're like stuck in I mean diamond, not even I mean gold, because of your teammates or anything. Like it's good that you sent this to me. As far as I know, just purely out of desire to do better. I think that's generally like the best starting point. Like the attitude to do better and not blame it on people is definitely the attitude that you want to have. Um, but there's certainly some things you could be working better on. Like you need to know there was that one dive that you did that was basically a big feed that was towards. Let's see, that was a little further after they capped that point. Might have been here. I think it was before that. It was probably the fight before. Oh, no. Maybe it was after that. Yeah, that's when you took the high ground.
Main tank is coming back. Nice.
Okay, regardless, I couldn't find it. You knew what I was talking about. You never want to dive into a group of 6 because you will immediately die. It's just a waste of your life, and it's giving them a lot of ult charge. Last point I'd like to make is your accuracy. I don't think it was like pitifully bad or anything, but I think your tracking could use some work, especially because you seem to be able to get distracted pretty easily. Um, what I've done to increase my tracking ability is to lower my sensitivity until the point where I'm comfortable tracking and I can stay on a target, um, even when I'm nervous enough to maybe be like, a little shaky. So I give that a try. I also practice a lot of Widow. Like I wouldn't say myself I'm a Widow player, but I think training with Widow lends itself to a lot of other heroes, just as far as accuracy goes. So that's just something to consider too. But overall, I guess I'll stop because I don't know, this was probably like 40 minutes of me just talking. So I would just focus on your dives, making sure you're making effective use out of your dives. You never want to dive 6 people, and you want to dive low targets that you can kill quickly or supports that you can deny their ability to heal. Um, and also, obviously killing them is your number one priority, but if you don't think you're going to kill, like, you need to know when you're not going to kill them. Like if they're getting healed and people are turning around to notice you, need to get out. If you get the kill, don't overstay your welcome and try to kill somebody else. Get out. You've already gotten you've already accomplished the mission of your dive, and you need to leave until you can maybe dive again, and maybe like you need to get healed up after the dive. So that's good. Work on your ult usage. I want you to save it. Like get in the habit of saving it to remech and contest points. Like obviously it's useless if you're the last one alive and you still have time to group up and contest, but it's really useful if say like they brought it all the way to the end of this map and you're the last person on point and you need to stay as long as you can. If you had your bomb up, then you could have remac'd to stall the point out longer, hopefully giving your teammates enough time to come in and continue contesting longer. Especially in cases like this where you only have 30 seconds, that extra time really helps out, especially if you get them into OT. So that's something there. Like I think every bomb you used in this video was offensively. I think a few of them did work out in your favor, which is very good and also pretty lucky because it's not. I don't think you really used them in any calculated way. It looked like you just kind of launched them forward and hope for the best. So I wouldn't stay in the habit of that. But otherwise, I don't want to beat you up too much because I think you did pretty okay, and you still obviously won. But I think there were definitely times when your team really just kind of carried a bit, like your team came in clutch. I'm not saying that you didn't contribute. There were definitely times of strength for you too. But I think you could work a little more on getting the most effectiveness out of D.Va because standing around and just kind of taking damage or not helping your healers isn't really the best thing you could be doing, because you could be playing Zarya then if you want to do that. So you want to make use out of D.Va in the ways that she is most effective. So that's all I got for you. I'm gonna stop the video. Um, and I hope you found this useful. Sorry it's a little long. It's my first job. Tell me if I did okay or not, because I'd like to continue doing this, and honestly give me feedback as well. Like I don't know you that well or anything, so I don't really know what your habits are as a player. So any feedback on what I said, or even any replies to anything about what I said, would be great. Awesome, thanks, man. Good luck. Feel free to come to me for anything else.